So they will have the ability to create a bridge. So I think once that 21-day window in terms of a determination is made, they can provide that bridge financing, and that will be through the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two products that are available right now. The other thing that's happening is the Michigan Economic Development Corporation has two products that they are in the process of releasing into the markets. The first product is a grant, and those grants, I just got the technical notification on those this morning. The grant, because Mackinac City is split between two through, let's see, I believe it's Networks Northwest. Let me just check this. It is Northwest Michigan Council of Governments, also known as Networks Northwest, out of Traverse City. They received $500,000 to apply to businesses across the region, which is Emmett, Grand Traverse, Charlevoix, Antrim, Kalkaska, Misaki, Wexford, Manistee, Benzie, and Leelanau. Those grants are up to 10. A loan app or a grant application process, which we expect to have out in the next 2 days, and that will be widely distributed once we get that. For businesses in Sheboygan County, the grant holder for that is going to be Target Alpena out of Alpena, and they will be covering, of the 11 counties in Northeast Michigan, they're going to be covering Iosco, Elkona, Alpena, Presque Isle, and Sheboygan County. So all of those counties kind of right up the lake shore. So Target Alpena received $200,000, and so they have that money to be able to spread across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counties that they have. So again, that up to 10,000, and
hey,
that is
Dave.
Go ahead. Yep.
What that was Target Alpena. It's not NEMCOG.
That's correct.
Okay.
So originally, what NEMCOG is the primary on this, but what they did is they said NEMCOG didn't have the ability to handle it, and really they wanted these grants to go out to the economic development organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And so within the Northeast region, we identified the two kind of largest economic development organizations. So Target Alpena being one, and the Otsego County Economic Alliance being the other one.
Okay.
So if you're in the Otsego area, that will go through Otsego County Economic Development, and they got 200,000 as well. So we've got 400,000 in total for the region to spread.
I think I was talking to Andy about this yesterday, and he figured it was about 40,000 per county. Is that about right?
Give or take. I think, I don't know how they're going to distribute these in terms of the grants. I'm waiting for the technical advice on that right now to find out what does the grant application look like, and then what is the decision process that they're going to be using in order to disperse those and make decisions about those grants. So,
I guess the bottom line is, though, it's just not enough. I mean, that's cool,
correct.
But it's not going to be a solution for anybody. I mean,
well,
it'd be nice if you get some money, but it's something.
Correct. And so I know, like in Saginaw, that Midland-based Saginaw, which is also one of my areas that I cover, the Economic Alliance out of Saginaw has, they're moving forward with theirs from the perspective of they're going to do grants up to 5,000. They want to be able to impact more businesses, but it's not huge amounts of money. Correct.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, they're going to be releasing those applications in a matter of days, right? These entities
Correct.
are creating little boards or a panel to review the grant applications, and they're working on that right now. And then these applications will be available in days, so our business owners could apply for them as soon as they come out. So
Correct.
just be ready for that, I guess.
Correct. So the next product that's available through the MEDC is a loan. And those loans right now, as I understand them, and we haven't, again, gotten the technical guidance on that yet from the MEDC, and we expect that any day. But these loans are between $50,000 and $200,000. And so they are also low interest loans. I don't have a defined rate yet, and a lot of the terms associated with that. So they're intended, they put, the state put $10 million into the fund for those loans. My understanding is those loans, strategic fund, which is part of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Again, 50 to 200,000. So you can see that there's kind of a big gap there in terms of funding available. The other thing I would say, and the direction and guidance that I'm giving to all of our clients is, if you're having cash flow issues right now and you've got notes and loans payable to your creditors, being your banks, your suppliers, anyone within your supply chain, you should be working and contacting them directly right now and talking with them about deferrals if possible. And most banks right now on loans for businesses are doing deferrals. So those deferrals, everyone, all the banks know that businesses are struggling right now, and they're trying to conserve cash. And one of the things that they're doing is making decisions about who's getting paid and who's not. And so banks are going to get some relief out of this too. So the big announcement from yesterday in the federal stimulus package of $2 trillion, we're going to see a large chunk of that flow into the small business community. Very unknown right now how that's going to happen. I know there was I got partway through an article in the Wall Street Journal this morning that talked a little bit about it. But we'll get some federal guidance probably late this afternoon or tomorrow with some more information on what those loans look like, or the products that are going to go directly into the banking industry to kind of shore up the financial industry. Right now, the thought is that banks are going to have access to some very, very inexpensive money from the federal government, the Federal Reserve, and the ability to pass those on and restructure debt or provide working capital and gap coverage will be important. The kind of backing up on the MEDC loan, one of the things I forgot to mention about that, or failed to mention, those loans will go through what's called the CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution. I have too many acronyms rolling around in my brain these days. So CDFIs, we have a number of them in Michigan. Northern Initiatives, some of you may have heard of them or have worked with them in the past, will likely be one of those. One of the CDFIs out of the Traverse City area there will be a lot more information on access to those. But again, those are $50,000 to $200,000 loans. So it's incredibly fluid right now. There's a lot happening. We're going to get an incredible amount of guidance, I'm guessing, from the Small Business Administration once at a federal level they figure out kind of how all of the program resources are going to start to roll out.
Okay.
Dave, can I ask a question? This is Donna with Mackinac Pasty Shop in Mackinac City.
You bet.
Okay, so whether it be the working capital loans you discussed, the bridge loan, the MEDC grant, what is my first step? Do I call my local banker and she knows about all this stuff, or am I supposed to be applying for the bridge loan and the MEDC grants and loans and all this stuff separately?
Yeah, I would tell you, good question, Donna, thank you. Your first stop should always be your local banker. They should be able to. They should have pretty good understanding of what products are available as well. They may have the ability to get you cash more rapidly than the federal government at good terms as well. The one thing that's important to know here is that if you have a current SBA Express loan or an SBA 7A or 504 loan, those will stay in place. So if you, as an example, if you were to take out the emergency declaration loan through the U.S. Department of Treasury, they would not roll all those loans together. They would still maintain those as separate loans, because those loans are really, the difference being the disaster loan is a direct loan from the U.S. Department of Treasury, and the other loans that you have are through the local lender, and they're federally guaranteed. And that's the fundamental difference. But yeah, getting a hold of your lender right away and talking to them about your current cash position, kind of knowing where you're at and keeping that relationship with your local lender is critically important right now for every business. And they really can kind of help you through the process of deciding what's best. And every business is different.
Okay, thank you very much.
You bet.
Guess the only other like big financial thing that comes to mind is tax filing. Everybody still needs to file their taxes in Michigan by April 15th, from what I'm reading. That the federal government extended the tax filing date to July 15th, but Michigan's date is still April 15th. I don't know if you've heard different on that, but
I have not heard anything.
You have to file your federal taxes before your state taxes, and the state hasn't budged on their date yet. So if you're filing the filing extension does not yet apply to us. So just waiting to hear on that, but that's what I've read. So
right.
So file your taxes by April 15th. That's all I have for you on this topic. Anybody else?
I do have a question. It's not about loans.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey, Mary Lou, is it anything financial, or will we wait for the discussion part?
Yes.
Wait for the discussion.
Financial.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I ordered a lot of artwork to put together last fall so that I would be prepared for this season. So I have all of this merchandise on in stock already. And I'm wondering if it would be wise to offer my longtime customers who have a really good record of paying on time merchandise to start out with, and then defer their payment for instead of 30 days to 60 days.
Let me, a quick question for you, Mary Lou. Are you selling to another business?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, extending payment terms, or even if you think that your good and long-term customers are good for it, absolutely. It's getting that commitment. You know, it's going to show up as accounts receivable for you, which provides, in terms of if you were going to do a loan request or application, having that accounts receivable sitting out there is probably to your advantage from a loan perspective.
Okay, I do not plan to apply for a loan.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, part of the challenge that every business has is if you've got inventory and trying to get that inventory converted to cash as rapidly as possible, right? That's right. Everyone's challenge. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you can, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad strategy to attempt to get stuff out to your good customers. Remember though, they're going to have challenges moving that product as well. So 60-day terms might not be enough. You might contact a couple of your key customers and just float the idea by them and see what they say. Yeah, I think, you know, there's a lot of folks and businesses are trying to figure out when sales are going to start happening again, when and how soon that might occur. So every industry is a little bit different. You know, if you were in the industry of making personal protective equipment for the healthcare or medical industry, or even the industrial industry, you wouldn't have any issues. You won't have issues getting paid. You won't have issues, right? But every industry is a little bit different. So I would have a conversation, pick a couple of your top 2 or top 3, and have a conversation and see where they're at in terms of their business and how likely it is that they'll actually be able to sell that product in the next 2 to 3 to 4 months. Does
Okay.
that help?
Thank you. Yes, it does a lot. Thank you.
That kind of leads into another question I have, which kind of leads into the next topic on our agenda, which our board of directors met yesterday in a very awkward, challenging audio call thing, and we talked, and we tried to put together our vision of how this rebound would look and what we need our businesses to do, or what we think would be the smartest solution for our community. Because right now, if you go into Mackinac City, it's shut down. I mean, it's a ghost town. It is all winter anyway, but our
Even more
businesses,
so.
yeah, our businesses are just getting ready to open their doors, and typically April is the month that we start opening our doors, and May is our school group month, and we get loads of traffic in May from kids and troops and whatnot. So now, knowing that they are going to not have that traffic, we think that it's still important that we open in May at some capacity, skeleton staff, whatever, just to make the town come back to life, because not sure when people are going to start traveling again, but I think having the community look alive and open is important. So our board, they put together their suggestions, and I'm not sure, I want to see if you think it is the right suggestion, I guess. If you can see it, it's
I can.
okay. We're shooting for May 13th. We'd like to see doors open by May 13th if we get the okay from the government and it's safe, and I mean as safe as it can be for people to start moving about, and it would be, we recognize businesses are going to take, it's going to be hard to open then, because are the people going to come? And is this wise for our businesses? Is this date realistic? What do you think?
Yeah, I think, I think it's wise to start to make and do some constructive planning on to be prepared for when we get that kind of release for people. Couple of things to remember: the 2 largest tourist attractions in the state of Michigan are Frankenmuth and Mackinac Island. Right.
Yeah.
So, and because of, where Mackinac City and St. Ignace are in terms of, access to the island and the pipeline of individuals. The other thing, remember, there's a big conference. I think there's big conferences scheduled for Mackinac Island in May. So we'll start to see probably that traffic, and whether those things are, I know May is kind of a critical month. Everyone's holding on events that are planned for May. Everything from college graduations to, you name it. So May is kind of an interesting month that everyone's looking for, that we may be kind of out of the woods and we'll start to see some relief. Some of the thoughts I've heard in terms of tourism in northern Michigan, that because there are so many people right now kind of in, either self-quarantine or lockdown across the region, there's one thought that says, we should expect to see a pretty significant spike as soon as this is released, because people are anxious to get out and get back to their routines. And if this is part of their routine, they'll do that.
Mhm.
The counter to that is what kind of cash and resources people will have available to them to be able to travel,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so those are some of the unknowns. I think it's a good position to be in, to start making plans and having some flexibility in those plans to be able to, this is going to mess up everyone's calendars of events for, for summer season. We're already seeing it in even things, June and July. So if we hit a June and July timeframe, on things, this is going to really crunch a lot of businesses.
Yeah. We
Jamie,
at the chamber. Oh, go ahead, John.
remember that the Grand's not going to open down until Labor or Memorial Day weekend.
And May
They
22nd. Yeah.
normally open the 1st, and also that conference has been postponed to August.
It has. Okay.
Yeah. And the chamber as well, we've not canceled, we've postponed our May events. Obviously, it still falls within the 8-week recommendation of the CDC, 8 weeks, 50 people or less gatherings, and definitely want to respect that. And so we just postpone them. We're not hosting events, but I still think little shops and things could be open, a little bit of life coming back slowly at that time, and I hope.
Yeah, I think the idea of a soft opening is okay.
Mhm.
I think it starts to build enthusiasm in the community. I think it's good. This is my own personal view. It's good for the morale of the community to start to people, for citizens and people in the community to start to see that. Is it going to be very busy? Likely no, but you never know, right? So soft opening, probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, it gave me, having a date in my head gave me like some peace of mind. I know everybody's wondering, will it ever end? So I guess we're looking at May 13th for our businesses, and hoping that we can, in some capacity, come back to life at that time, start opening the doors, welcoming people in, encouraging visitors, and slowly soft opening. So if that works for everybody else, we should try to shoot for that. Any questions or thoughts on that? Business community?
Just for myself, Donna Mackinac Pasty,
Yeah,
just as a heads up for everybody, Sunday's going to be it for us. We're going to have to pull the plug.
yeah.
Um,
Just not
we-
able to
we
sustain
tried.
takeout. Nobody
No,
is.
no, it
It's
isn't
not
working.
lucrative.
No, no.
Mhm.
So probably Sunday at this point we'll be out. But May 13th sounds good to us. I mean, we want to be back in the kitchen as soon as we can. But we're going to have to call it for now until the stay at home is done.
Okay. Right.
Well, this is Vicki Tyson. I'm optimistic. I'm thinking, I'm hoping that we're going to be back in the store, the 1st of May, receiving things and trying to get things going. I think that we just have to hang in and stay positive, and, this will pass. And I think I think I'm encouraged by the president and some of the things that he's doing, and I think he's had some encouraging words. So I think we just have to hang on and just be positive about getting through this. And Donna, I'm glad we went and got pasties last night.
I'll just stock up on our takeout food. Put a freezer full. All right.
Hey, Jamie, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.